5 Ableton features I wish I knew about earlier. All right, so let's dive right in. So the first thing we're going to look at is audio to MIDI. This is one of my favorite features in Ableton. It's extremely powerful and it really helps with inspiration and firing out quick ideas. So right away, we have a guitar loop, acoustic guitar loop. Let's just give a quick listen to this. So we're going to right click on the audio sample. And if you go to the bottom, you'll see convert harmony to new MIDI track, convert melody to new MIDI track, and convert drums to new MIDI track. So harmony is going to be best for harmonic elements like piano, strings, guitar, orchestral stuff. Whereas melodic stuff is going to be best for something like vocals or whistling. And drums is going to be best for drums. So let's convert to harmony and let's see what happens. So basically Ableton just created a new MIDI track with the MIDI notes extracted from this guitar loop. Very cool. So let's see what this sounds like now. Okay, so it's close. Obviously, it's not perfect. There's some notes that aren't in key, but it's pretty amazing technology that Ableton's able to do this. And this is super useful. For example, you could record a vocal melody on your phone. You could whistle into your phone mic, and you could import that as an audio track into Ableton, and you could audio to MIDI to extract that whistling or that vocal melody, and you could build a song around that. So right away with this acoustic guitar with the MIDI notes here, typically what I do is I'll just highlight some of the higher octaves and I'll just click 0 to disable those notes. And then let's just do a quantize and let's listen to it over the acoustic guitar together and see what it sounds like. So it sounds pretty good. I would probably do some more editing, but just to inspire you guys, hopefully you can kind of see the potential of this feature. I absolutely love it and hope you have fun with it. So let's dive on to the second one, which is the metronome. So it took me a while to really figure this out, but there's a button right here on the bottom right with this blue shade. This controls the volume of the metronome. And it's super useful, especially if you're mixing with a lot of headroom and your mixes are very low. Sometimes the metronome will be really loud in your headphones. And then in the top left, these two dots here, if you click this arrow, you could control the count and speed. I usually have it at around a bar. And I find this really useful when I'm recording something on my MIDI keyboard. So I have a bar count in before it starts recording. And then you could also change your sound, whether you want the classic metronome I'm sure you're familiar with, or you could change it to a click or a wood block. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is capture record. And this is really useful when you're jamming out on your MIDI keyboard or on your keyboard and you come up with a really cool melody, but you didn't have record enabled. And this is a way to secretly get those notes back. It saved a lot of ideas, a lot of tracks, and let's see how it works. So let's activate the MIDI track with Trillion on it, and we'll just fire this couple notes. Let's just hear it. Okay, so I forgot to click record. How are we going to get those notes back? Well, if you go to the top, you'll see this box. All you have to do is click it, and boom, the notes appear. Number 4 is a pretty quick tip. Insert time is Command I on Macs and Control I on PC. And let's just see how that works. So Command I is going to push everything to the right as far as the highlighted region is, and you could just keep on clicking it, and then Command Shift Delete or Control Shift Delete on PC. If you highlight a region, it will close the time in. And this is extremely useful, especially the Command I when you're doing a mix or you're doing a remix. A lot of producers that I work with, including myself, I like pushing everything to the right and then dragging certain elements at 0, 0 and starting building from scratch. So this is just a way to really save time instead of highlighting and then copying and pasting and making sure that you have everything correctly cut. Sometimes you miss stuff. Anyways, this is a really quick way. So just to recap, Command I or Control I on PC is to insert time, push stuff to the right, and then Command Shift Delete or Control Shift Delete on a PC is to close time. So this brings us onto the 5th tip, which is templates and saving your own presets and just overall organization. I'm a huge fan of this color-coded system in Ableton. You could rename all the different colors to whatever you want, but how I have it organized, I have my vocal shots, my drums, effects, pianos, pads, bells, and strings, bass and guitar, synths, and my overall favorite plugins and presets. And this is just a super quick way to save you time so you could keep the inspiration going. If I'm looking for a piano or an orchestral strings, I could just click pianos and everything is there. All I have to do is drag a preset onto a MIDI track and then boom, here's my contact keys. So another thing, if let's say you love this contact preset and anytime you make a new MIDI track, you want that to open right away, you could just right click on the MIDI track and at the very bottom there's save as default MIDI track. So if you do that, then anytime Command Shift T, you open a new MIDI track, or Control Shift T on PC, that will automatically turn into the contact if I did have it clicked. And also, if you go into your preferences and you click file folder, you could save a current set as a default set. This is extremely useful if you do intricate bussing, or let's say you always do New York compression with vocals and you have the routing set up. And let's say you always want to have the same limiter on your master. You can make your own Ableton default set. So anytime you open a new live set, everything will be there. That's also going to save you time and allow you to be more creative. So one really quick bonus tip before we go is curved automation. Let's take a look at that. So we just have a pretty basic piano loop being filtered in. All you need to do is hold Option, and you'll see this beside the mouse, there's that little kind of squiggly line. You just have to drag it up or drag it down, and that will create curved automation for your EQs, your reverbs, anything. So that's the bonus tip. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe. Really appreciate you checking these videos. I'm JR from PINEO and LOEB. Have a great evening. Happy producing. Take care.